What's going on, guys? Jeremy here with GunMagWarehouse, and today I'm going to be comparing the MP5 to the CMMG Banshee. Both are delayed blowback subguns, what I would consider subguns, and sort of in roughly the same category. So before I get into that, all I want you to do is like that smash button, guys, and go ahead and subscribe. And I'll waste no more of your time, and we can get right into it. Now, we've got a couple different versions of the MP5 here. This is the actual HK MP5. This Century Arms AP5 is an MP5 clone. This is a lot more likely for somebody to be able to get their hands on in the civilian market. So this is what I'm going to be comparing with the CMMG Banshee. Now, it does have full auto, as you can tell by that. But I'm not really going to incorporate that into the comparison either, simply because unless you go through the paperwork, you're not allowed to have one of these. So we're just going to keep it simple for the sake of civilian use and compare the functionality regarding the reloads, the recoil impulse, the price a little bit, and the availability. And we'll see who comes out on top. We're going to let the results speak for themselves. The Banshee is made by CMMG here in the USA. It comes in a couple different variants. This one is the SIG variant. They also have a Glock variant and a Colt style variant. We went with the SIG one simply because that's what we own. There are other options out there, but I'm not going to buy all three simply for cost. Don't have that kind of cash just kind of hanging out. So we brought out the 30-round SIG magazines because of course we did. We have them in stock, so why wouldn't we use them? Now this is the older model of the Banshee. They have a newer model which is slightly different, but otherwise very similar. This will be somewhere around the $1,700 mark MSRP, which is really not too bad of a price, but a little bit more than I would want to pay, which is why I'm borrowing this. From what I found online, this AP5 is going to run you somewhere around the $2,000 mark, so it's going to be a little bit more expensive than the CMMG Banshee. Now, only one of these guns has decades of experience and was used by SAS operators to rescue hostages in London. So it's got that going for it, obviously, but it's going to be a little bit more expensive. The Banshee will be a little bit more familiar on the controls, at least for Americans, because of the AR platform. I guess back in the 90s, the Germans really liked slapping their stuff because a lot of their guns have the slapstick, is what I call it, up here at the front, where you give it a good smack. Left-handed, so doing that right hand is a little awkward. It's not actually necessary to smack this, but you should honor history and tradition as much as humanly possible. So the MP5 does not have a last round bolt hold, so you would fire until you hear a dead man's click, throw the bolt to the rear, drop the magazine out, put a new magazine in, and smack it down, ready to rock and roll. Now, so you can opt for a couple different options here. It is possible to drop the mag out and seat another mag if you've got an extra like Hulk strength behind it with a full mag, and boom, pop that thing in there. It's not actually that easy, but if you can do it, more power to you. Since I'm left-handed and if I lock this back, take the mag out, put a new mag in, all I'm gonna do is throw my thumb right here and I'm ready to roll, just like that. So as long as I'm not being filmed, that's most likely the most efficient way that I'm going to do it. So the reload process on the Banshee is actually quite simple. You run it until it's dry, the bolt will lock to the rear, throw the new mag in, throw this bolt home, and boom, you're ready to go and you can fire. Now, if I didn't have either, which I don't, and I only could pick one, I would probably pick the Banshee to start. Number one, it's made in America, okay? Simple as that. Number two, the controls are extremely familiar. The ambi safety is going to be a big deal for me. On this clone, there is no ambi safety. And this big honking thick boy I promise I'm not over dramatizing it, and I'm pretty strong, so if I gotta actually really put effort into that, and I tell you what, let me show you in the right hand too. I can't even hardly reach that sucker. This is like from, yeah, I mean, so I just did it, so that's okay. But still, you get what I'm saying. I can barely reach that thing. Okay, with this, all day, every day, boom, I can break grip if I want. I can boom, boom, you know, put it back on. No big deal, just oof. It's super easy, easier than pulling the trigger. This thing right here is like 3 times this trigger press, okay? It takes a lot of effort. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Same thing with the bolt hold, last round bolt hold. Quicker, more efficient reloads. The biggest downside of the CMMG is that it's not an MP5.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
It's pretty much that simple. MP5, beautiful gun, historic gun, a piece of history. You need to own both. But if I was gonna start out, I would save a little bit of money. I would save maybe roughly $300-ish. Run this with familiar controls, and get it with a magazine that is a companion pistol. So if I had a P320 on me, I can use the same magazines that I use for this, same rounds and everything, toss it into my pistol for whatever reason I need to, and I'm good to go. Now, of course, there are aftermarket parts that you can put on this. You can swap the handguard out, you can take the irons off, you can put on some sort of rail on the top. There's tons of different companies that do all that kind of business, change the stock out, whatever you want to do. But right out of the box, CMMG has a lot more modularity, a lot more capability to just throw a red dot on there. And so for that, I gotta give it a couple more points. And like I said, the only drawback with CMMG is that it's not an MP5. MP5 is hard to beat. It's a beautiful gun. It's a historic gun, and you absolutely should own one. It's the best recoiling 9mm sub gun that I've ever shot. Even better than the CMMG, but not crazy. You know, it's not a crazy difference. This one's not gonna rock you back or anything. So they're both comparable, but if I had to choose only one, I'd go with the CMMG Banshee. You make your own decision. Let me know what you think down there in the comments. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you spending some of it with me here today. This is me in the past, technically. We're filming this in present time. When you see it, it's in the past. If I said anything wrong here, just know that was in the past. That was the old me. The new me would never make such a stupid mistake. So just bear that in mind. But go ahead and leave me a comment about it anyway. Thanks for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Like 80% of the people who watch our videos are not subscribed. Don't be one of those guys. Subscribe, like, comment, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for shopping with GunMagWarehouse. Stay free, guys.